Hello everyone, welcome to this playthrough. This is the last impulse of the first turn. It's a German impulse, and this is because I have held on to my last card, this one, and I wanted to have the last impulse of the game. Well, the situation was rather good at the start of the previous part, but it deteriorated rapidly, and yeah, that's a lesson in strategy in this game. Things can change very rapidly, and I'm not happy with myself because in earlier impulses in earlier parts, kind of not panicked exactly, but tried to be extra safe, and got a rather weak unit into Belgorod, thinking that it could take an advance. What I failed to notice, though, that it was that I was leaving a corridor open through which more Soviet units could attack this unit, and this is what happened. It was an overwhelming attack which dislocated us from Belgorod. Of course, if I hadn't put that unit there, it would have suffered one more hit and would probably be gone, or it would be in a clear terrain. I mean, it would be far worse for the unit. But if I had, let's say, closed my lines, I mean, kept this unit here, not leaving corridor or even here next to that unit, then even if it suffered, if it suffered, it would be, yeah. Even if it was eliminated, these are our infantry units around here. I was a little bit worried about here 3-tank army, but it was mostly infantry units. They wouldn't have a chance of advancing into Belgorod, and I mean, at one point or another, we would lose Belgorod. Probably. I'm not so much worried about the victory points, but I'm more worried because now Belgorod was an important crossroads for supply, and what I'm afraid is that starting next turn we'll have to take care about to be extra careful about German supply. Soviets don't have that problem until turn 3, and maybe some units there will find themselves completely surrounded. Kharkov, I have taken a gamble and left Kharkov here without a unit, thinking that I would stop them along here, or I would be able to retreat quickly. And now I think it's if I'm out of supply, if some units go out of supply, it's going to be a very difficult situation. However, well, it's good crying over spilled milk, suppose. So important strategy lessons for next game. Guard the approaches to Belgorod as much as we can. Well, yeah, that's happened now. So the rest of the board, things have gone more or less as expected. I mean, the surprising thing is that I have managed to stem a little bit mobile group pop-off. I mean, to do that, I weakened my defenses here. Second SS, two strong units of second SS are already there. So yeah, it was a gamble, okay, but in this part of the sector it has paid off. I mean, obviously the Soviets are building for a big attack, and they want to break through, reach their objectives, and go west and move west to the other hexes. And I don't know how that's going to play, but okay. Now, what I'm thinking, well, my original plan was, using my last impulse to activate the 40th corps, and depending on the situation, make some threat around here. The Eastern Soviet adds trying to mess with our supply next turn, or pose a threat to Slavyansk, so as to get them to slow down a little bit. I don't know if this is going to work, but what I can do with this card is deploy corps reserve, no reserves right now, activate all. The event is free from turn 3 onwards, and I still have the option of activating any one unit. Well, I could, in theory, I could activate one of these units and get it into Kharkov. I could activate this and go, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4 is into Kharkov. So Kharkov would be at least not empty, but I think I'll stick to my original plan. I mean, obviously at the end of the turn I'm going to get some cards next, and I don't think the Soviets can reach Kharkov in, well, if they do, it's going to be a completely different story, but I think I can react. I mean, even if these units, they can advance into Kharkov easily if they're not so easy. They're infantry, and we still got some power over here. But I'm confident I can cover Kharkov. I wouldn't like to to get that unit here. It would open a big gap, and then what would happen was that Third Army, one of the two strongest armies, this and Popov are the strongest armies probably here, then they would arrive just outside Kharkov, and then it would be they would constantly attack Kharkov, and I would like to just as Belgorod. I don't think it's we're trying to delay them, not fight in the actual VP hex, and this should have happened here. I would fight them and fall back into Belgorod, not go into Belgorod and wait them to lay siege to it. It hasn't worked, and I'm afraid it's not going to work now. But as I said, I'll try to stick with the original plan, and it's another gamble, but we have to take some gambles. Besides, as I've said, it's only my second playthrough. I'm not going for a grand strategy or even an inspired strategy. I'm just trying to get the rules right, get some fun while doing it, undeniably, and I'll try to use the card to activate the 40th Corps. So let's get over there and see what we can do and what I would achieve. Okay, so I'm using my last card to activate the 40th Corps, and there are 3 units there. Let me get the card out of the way. Don't have any other card, so no combat tactics or anything, and the event is not happening. So okay, there are 3 units. All units in 40th Corps are armored units, a total of 10 strength, and there is, my initial plan was to attack this surrounded Popov unit, and I was thinking that with just one point it would be eliminated, and but now First Guards Army has advanced, and so it's not easy to eliminate this unit. And another option would be to get one unit. I can do it because I'm not this is not surrounded unit into Kramatorsk, and kind of strength and its defense. and my last option is to just attack with everything I've got. Well, it will be either attacking Popov here or attacking first guards here. Well, the way the map is laid out right now, I think I will attack this one. It's one strength only, it's one step only. I've got some good chances of making some damage to it. I mean, if I manage to dislocate it, I would be able to advance into here, and this road is quite well, it's not so important, but it could have an effect on Soviet supply. And if I'm lucky enough to to dislocate them completely or eliminate them, then it would be even able, no, I wouldn't be able to advance into Slavyansk. I would have to attack this hex in order for this to happen, and all movements happen before attack, so I can't attack with 2 units and then use this. But in any case, I would be proximate to Slavyansk and the force first guards or Popov, or even 6th Army to take a step back and guard Slavyansk and do some stuff there as well. I think this one is pretty okay right now because this is a one-step unit, can't lead an attack, and the dispersed marker comes off at its end of turn, so the Korperaus units would not be dispersed anymore, and well, they're quite weak right now, but so are the Soviets here, and well, it will depend on what happens here, I guess. Yeah, I'm not very pleased, but I'll try. Maybe some more experienced players will try something different, but what I'm going to do is try an all-out attack to this first guards unit. I mean, it's going to be 10 to 1, and let me check the procedure for a German attack. And I'm afraid the Soviets are going to get a combat tactic, and I'm afraid of what's going to be, because they don't have a combat tactic. Okay, let's check the German combat sequence. Well, it's the first German attack of the game, actually. Okay, declare target and attacking units. Okay, play combat tactic cards. Okay, I can't play, I don't have any. Draw 1 Soviet card. Skip your if your attack is weak. No, it's not a weak attack. And draw 1 Soviet card and apply the card's combat tactic. And we don't have any Soviet card, but there is a rule 1237 which says that if the Soviet deck is exhausted when a combat tactic draw is called for, reshuffle the deck only for the purpose of drawing combat tactics. This reshuffle does not extend Soviet impulse. So I'm doing this, shuffling the Soviet cards just to get 1 combat card, and the rest is going to be discarded. They can't be reused, of course. Okay. Okay, and again, this unit is within Soviet artillery barrage, but Soviet artillery barrage combat tactic is only for Soviet attacks. It's 1236 on game test. We're going to do every Soviet attack against a German unit in the Ben receives the artillery combat tactic, so they don't have an extra artillery tactic. So okay, let's get them their card, and it's partisans, and partisans okay, maybe I'm lucky. Okay, partisans, Soviet defense. If defending in a city hex, no, it's clear. Okay, if defending in a city, reduce of its and increase if in woods or town, no woods, not town, Soviet, if in hex other than city, town or woods, reduce German, it's a clear hex. If in hex other than city, town or woods, okay, this is the case, reduce German maximum combat cheat draw by 1. So okay, let's see how many cheats we would draw. Okay, the minimum of course would be 1, since okay, and the maximum would be according to 24. I don't think we get let's say maximum draw 1 cheat for each attacking unit with 1 or 2 steps. I think that we're all 2 steps, so it's going to be 1, 2, yeah, they're all 2 steps. It's going to be 3. No combat attacked by the attacker, no defender of the supply, no isolated, and it's just going to be then what's 2 cheats. 2 cheats at 10 to 1. Yeah, okay, so mandatory minimum is 1, and then I'll have to decide if I'll draw I have the option to continue and declare it, but okay, there goes nothing. And the cheat is greater than 2 to 1, attacker 1, D1, less than 2 to 1. Okay, they would retreat, and I would have to suffer 1 hit, wouldn't I? Okay, I'll draw another one. No, this attack didn't go as expected, of course. And this one is flank attack. No, it's not flank attack. Yeah, 1 hex attack. So that was maybe one of my worst decisions. It's a 1 hex attack, my worst decisions ever. So 1 attacker hit, and let me see. Well, I think the do you have any restriction on how to? So nothing. I should have stayed with 1 cheat. You know, at least they would have to retreat 1 hex, but no. Okay, Sankin hits 2 attackers. Okay, does it say do you have processing hits? The first step must be applied as step to one of those units to attack up to 2 additional. Okay, that's first step. I have to apply German step loss to unit of your choice. However, the first step loss assigned must be to a 3-step unit or an armor unit if any participated. So okay, they're all the same. So what could let's see this one. It would be, yeah, obviously I would lose 2 strength by reducing this, while as I would lose just 1 strength by reducing this. So that's it, I'm afraid. So now my big plan didn't work out well at all, but okay, so German impulse is over. Both the draw piles are empty, so it's end of game turn 1, and you know, thank you for being here throughout this this turn. It took us 21 parts, but okay. So we go to end of turn phase, and let's get to how we do the end turn. Okay, let's check the steps. Okay, first step, it's check victory levels. No, it's from turn 4 onwards. Okay, second, return all combat cheats to cap. So yeah, I'm returning them. Well, suffering a little bit, but I will suffer them again. Okay, next, check garrison markers in villages for removal. No, that's turn 4 onwards. And turn 7 we remove all Soviet objective markers from play, whether maybe they can they may have been removed earlier, but on turn 7 we remove them anyway. And then we just advance, and excuse me, where is the dispersed markers? How I was pretty sure that I would we don't get to remove dispersed marker. Oh no, it's here. I'm so silly. Sorry. It was it goes step 3 actually. Remove dispersed and forward support markers. Well, no forward support. So if we've got any dispersed markers, I mean it's only us. We've got dispersed markers. So this goes. This goes. This goes. And do I have any other dispersed unit here? I don't think so. No, these are improved. I think there was one, but here no, it's just 2 units. Hex and this. No, it was activated earlier. So there's, and also from day to day the consecutive activation doesn't apply. I start turn 1, I could activate again the 40th Corps. Well, okay, we'll see what we will do. So I've removed the dispersed markers, and then advance turn marker on the calendar and start next turn. And yeah, let's do that because there are a couple of things that we will do before the impulses, and what I'll prepare turn 2, and next part is going to be the impulses. So let's go to turn 2, and I mean, okay, just let me change the focus a little bit. Okay, this is the calendar space where we have set up, and just above the reserve units box. Let me remind you, there was a reserve that didn't join the battle, so it's still there. And okay, an interesting detail is that the game turn has 2 sides, a red one and a gray one, and I don't think I've seen it in the rules. Maybe it's to remind you which game you're playing, or maybe it's to turn it impulse after impulse to know whose impulse it is, which is well, it's attention to detail. I haven't used it, but it's nice that I've got this ability. And of course, yeah, if I wasn't recording everything on video, maybe that would be if you have to leave your game and come back next day, or or even after a few days, it would be nice to know which impulse it is. But anyway, so last step in end of turn phase, end of turn 1, is to proceed the game turn marker next. What I like is that they have taken care, and there is quite a lot of information on the calendar itself. Well, it's obscured by the units there, but they will go. So turn number, the relevant dates. This is the fixed artillery range, which is now extends to 3 for this tactic. Again, the German hand is 4, and the German supplemental cards are 4 now instead of 3. So we got 1 extra. Well, it's not that great of a difference, but okay. And then in red, there are the special, let's say, rules or time-sensitive rules that apply to this turn, and we've got again the Soviet artillery barrage, and then it says start German supply. We have to take care supply, and start German strategic movement, which well, if our units survive the first few impulses, may become useful may become even critical, but okay. And so we have advanced. The game turn now is 2. Okay. Yeah. Well. Okay. So there you see there is a reserve unit for the guards, and I'm afraid where it's going to end up. But okay. Okay. So the first phase of the new turn is the reserve phase, which instructs us to take units from the current turn space and place them in their reserve boxes, and the reserve boxes are, yeah, you get the better view there. Yeah, so just one unit, and it's going to be placed here. So there are now 2 reserve units, one for 40th, one for first guards, which can join battle or be deployed at any time. As in enemy action order, then there is the for the player the deploy delayed reserves, but not until game turn 3. I mean, they don't have any reserves. Second SS Corps was the only units in reserve. They had to join us, or else the situation would be far worse, I think. And now let's get to some interesting parts. Okay, the next phase is the card preparation phase for the German for the German cards. Okay, so let me get to the German combat card display and get it from there. Okay, so this is the German command card display, and that's the situation at the end of the previous turn. I mean, the primary discarded cards have gone to a separate pile, and the supplemental cards have gone to a separate pile. And now what we do is to prepare our draw pile and hand for this turn. I would say the day which was during the dance, but now it's 3 days, so it's the turn. Okay, first place this turn's primary reinforcement cards, face down in draw pile. Place supplementary reinforcement, oh god, cards face down in available supplemental. Okay, the draw pile is obviously here, and the available supplemental, let me remove them so you can see them. It's here, and the idea is that you get your primary cards in your draw pile every turn. That's why they're called primary, and you get a more or less random selection of supplemental cards in its turn, but not the same cards you received the previous turn. So these ones will not go to draw pile, and you see you've got these very useful arrows outlining the detail, which was in Ardennes it had to be explained. It was the first time I had seen personally this mechanism, but I thought it worked really great. Offers variation. Now if you see here, it says that in game turn 2 we get 4 supplemental cards, and these will be marked turn 2, so maybe these should be kept face up. It wouldn't matter because they're not participants. So let me find, I think I've got them in order. Yeah, okay, so that was easy. Let me show you the 4 cards that will be joining next. And yeah, 2 for the 3rd Corps, 1 for the 40th Corps, and 1 for the 4th Panzer Army. Well, all 3 or 4 of these may become, they will be dearly needed, I'm afraid. So these 4 ones join these ones which were left from previous turn. So that's it, 4 cards, and then no reinforcement cards, no primary. They would go here as the arrow indicates, and then shuffle of available supplemental. Yeah, I shuffle these and deal quantity indicated for this turn and place face down in draw pile. So in the Canada, if you remember, the German supplemental would be 4. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4. I have, do I have? Yeah, 4. Yeah, it's 4. I have shuffled them enough. Okay, these go here, and then place last turn supplemental discards face down in available supplemental pile. So these now join these cards and will be available for next turn, while these ones, after being played, they will go here and the same cards won't be available next turn. So you kind of know what to expect and not. I mean, this turn I will expect some more active third corpse, provided they survive, of course, and some less activity next turn. But okay, that's I can't even think strategy in terms of next few impulses, let alone turn. So next step, place last turn's primary discards down in draw pile. So we get these, all of these. The primary cards are available each turn. So I got them here. So this now is my draw pile, and what we do, as in every card game, we shuffle it, and I want to shuffle it quite good, because the way you do it, you have just supplemental cards and primary cards on top of each other. So let me give it quite as good a shuffle as possible with so few cards, but okay, let me cut it. Yeah, so that's it, the draw pile. And yeah, draw your initial hand per the turn's hand size limit, which is 4. Okay, so it's to be 1. I just draw them and we'll analyze them later. No, you can't see them. Okay, I'll show you them. 2, 3, 4. Okay, let me change focus and I'll show you the cards I've got. So my initial hand is this, and I can say I'm quite happy, because Corpse Rush will need all this. I'll have the chance to do something with my units over there, and the 47th will have probably to fall back to Kharkov, and the third corps over here I would like to consolidate my lines, make stronger stacks. They're all one units, one step units. I would love to give them some better chances of survival and stuff like that. And yeah, and I've got some interesting combat tactics, but okay, it's too early to discuss, because the Soviets are going to go first. They got the first impulse and then we react. So okay, yeah, that's better. So no, oh no, that's not better, because I forgot about the Soviet deck. The Soviet deck is it's much simpler. We just get the cards. These were previous, the ones that were in previously the draw pile, but we add reinforcement cards entering this turn, and according to the let me show you. Well, the map is as helpful as it can be in this game. Lots of info in it. I'm quite happy with the map. So it's the game turn 1, 19 cards. These are the ones we have used, and game turn 2 they get +1 card. I have set them aside, and yes, game turn 2 they get this card. It's the Voronezh front card, similar to our 4th Panzer Army card, so that's quite a good card. Let me get it somewhere in the middle, but let me shuffle this again. A good shuffling always adds to the excitement of the game. It can lead, those card-driven games are great at enhancing replayability of the game, because you can start, of course there are starting adjustments, which are five. You have 5 possible starts to choose from, and then each turn, its impulse is going to play out differently depending on the combination and the way the movement system stuff is built. I mean, the general the general idea will be the same, because, you know, there are the front objectives taking care of that, and the preference for VP hex and stuff like that. But how this is going to be achieved is quite, you know, random. Well, not random exactly, but it depends how fast an Soviet army will advance, or what actions will take. Depends on the order of the cards. The cards will appear. So let me cut this one. Yeah, and it's ready. Depends on stuff like that. So that's it. This is ready for the first survival impulse. But now it's turn 2, and what happens from turn 2 onwards is that we start the supply phase, and unfortunately turn 2 is the supply phase just for the Germans. So let's go, let's check this, sorry, let me show you the map and see what we'll do. Okay, you can see most of the map here, but I'll change focus and zoom as needed. So as I've said, it's now supply phase. It's turn 2, you start supply phase. The first step is to place garrisons in eligible Soviet VP hexes and VP village hexes, but this step is happening from turn 4 onwards. And then determine supply status of German units, then it's even worse than I thought, then turn 4 onwards Soviet units according to 13. Remove out of supply and isolated markets from units in supply. Well, first turn everyone was supplied, no units were isolated, and with the very few exceptions, supply is checked just once. It's turn at the start, this phase at the start of the turn, and follows the unit throughout the entire turn. And for hexes, supply is checked at, as needed. So yeah, and then from turn 8 onwards, we would have to check VP to supply Soviet support, but turn 8 is too far away. I don't know if I can make it to turn 8 the way things have turned out. And from the last step is checked for front objective removal, which is turn 7. So there's only one thing we have to do, and this is check our units according to 13 for supply status. And let me get okay. Now we have to trace supply, and trace supply is from unit hex to German map edge hex. And let me show you. I mean, you know that they're friendly, and you can't see very well. Let me here and try focus a little bit, zoom in a little bit so you can, it's better. You see, this is the German map edge, and this is the dividing line, and this is the Soviet map edge. I mean, supply can be traced for the Soviets from these hexes, and German supply can be traced for the Germans from these hexes. And the same thing is on the other map edge. I mean, most of the map edges, so it's the upper, this along around, this is this direction from here to the end of the map, and from around Kramatorsk just before Kramatorsk 2. There, this is the, let's say, a little bit more than 1/3 of the map edge hexes are in Soviet supply hexes, and the rest are German. Yeah, I mean, geographically, the northeast corner of the map is where we trace Soviet supply from, and the rest is German supply. So yeah, let me get the book here. It's only the second time I'm doing this actually. So okay, it says it can be traced from a unit or hex if a path of no more than 7 hexes can be traced from the unit or hex to hex on a friendly map edge. Yeah, so that would mean that anything further than 7 hexes from here wouldn't be in supply, but it's also, this is the order that makes things possible to go, or to a road hex that is a valid supply head. And now, what's a supply head? Well, supply heads, every hex on a friendly map edge is a supply head, obviously. A road hex is a friendly supply head if a path of connected road hexes, and now you can understand my frustration about Belgorod because it's crossroads, yeah, of connected road hexes can be traced from the road hex to a hex on a friendly map edge with the road leading off the map. So what that would mean, let me show you here. Let me get again. So yes, it's a closer one. So this means that all these hexes are supply heads, but a road is starting here, so every hex along this road is a valid supplied hex. And even here, you reach the crossroads, you can spread out, here, but the trick is that the road path may be of any length but may not pass through enemy town or city hexes, Belgorod, or through hexes occupied by enemy units or garrisons. So this is Soviet supply. So this road up to here is this hex is a valid supplied hex, but now you can't go from here to here or here. You can't even go from here to here because there's no connecting road. So this is a valid supplied hex, and supply can't go no further. This is no valid supplied hex. This is no valid supplied hex right now. And the other thing is that the road path may be traced into a hex in an enemy zone of control only if that hex is occupied by a friendly unit. So let me show you an example of that, and I think do you have one? Yeah, okay. This is a valid supply. This is a valid supply head. This is still a valid supply head because supply can be, it is in an enemy zone of control, but it is occupied by a friendly unit. So if there was a unit here, a German unit here, it would be considered in supply because the road hexes, this would be a supply, this would be supplied because the road hex under enemy zone of control is occupied by a friendly unit. So that's about supply hexes. So then the hex for which supply is being traced may be in an enemy zone of control. So yes, this hex is in a zone of control, but it doesn't matter. The hex itself doesn't matter. From there, the 7 hex path can't pass through enemy town or city hexes or hexes occupied by enemy units or garrisons. Okay, that's obvious. The same here. I mean, the 7 hexes. sorry, this means that the supply, this is a supply, extends 7 hexes from this. This is forgot to mention it. Sorry, this is the supply head. So this is supply head. So this unit is in supply. It's one from a supply head, and also I think now this unit is surrounded, but we'll get back to that later. But you know, from here, let's say this is a valid supply head. Well, this is one. This is even better. Let's this is definitely a supply head. So 1 2 3 4 7, it would extend. You can extend it here. Of course they're closer to roads, but 7 hexes away it is a valid supply head. Okay, as long as it doesn't pass through enemy towns. That's why we mark the towns, besides counting the VPs. That's why we mark the towns, because it affects not only movement but also status of supply. And then the 7 hex can't pass through enemy town hexes. Okay, the path may be traced into a hex in an enemy zone of control only if that hex is occupied by a friendly unit, against the same as supply hex. And last, if the path crosses an unbridged Dnieper river hexside, its allowed length is shortened to 2 hexes. The path can't cross a blocked Dnieper river hex side. So that's a little bit different from Ardennes, whereas the presence of the river would limit the supply to just 1 hex across. Okay, this is the Donets river. The Dnieper river is down and to the right of the map, so we haven't reached there yet, and hopefully it will take us some time to to get there. Hope it's not going to be too soon. It's quite different from Ardennes. Okay, it says if the path causes now. So what that means by the river? It's crosses Dnieper. It's just for Dnieper, and it can cross a blocked Dnieper river. It doesn't say anything about Donets or the Minus river, but I would also consult the terrain effect chart just to be sure. No, it doesn't say strategic. No. Donets river. If all units attack. No. Yeah, it says if all units blocked Dnieper hex side prevents movement, attack, advance, retreat, and supply trace. It doesn't say anything about Donets, and it doesn't say anything in the rule book that Donets river blocks supply. And if I remember correctly, yeah, it's just 2 hexes for an unbridged. Okay, if it follows a bridged, it's a quite different story. So let's start checking supply, and let me see, is there any preferred method of doing this? I mean, yeah, you have checked units separately. Supply, fixed support. No, I can't see anything. I'll check the player saved a little bit. Sorry, but it's just second time I'm doing this. Okay, supply trains to supply are units. A hex is in supply. Supply path up to supply head. Supply heads include friendly mappets, road hex, enemy zone. No, it doesn't say anything. So we just have to check supply for our units and place the relevant markets. So I will try to do it, you know, in a systematic way. And wow, this video has gone for too long, but okay, I'll do it in a systematic way. And you know, I'm going to, you know, from left to right, top to bottom, yeah, or else north to south, east to west, if you prefer that, but or in ascending hex number. Okay, I have given you 3 ways to see it. So let's start by this unit, which worries me the most, but I think it needn't be. So can it trace supply? So this is Donetsk River. It's not yet surrounded, thankfully, so it can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and yes, this is a valid supplied head. So since this is a valid supplied head, and I'll show you why it is, because I think it's clear. It comes to Kharkov, and from Kharkov there are let me get this. You can see that even this roads here, or yeah, any number of roads that lead up to Kharkov. In Greek that's a soft H, that's a ha, a he. Kharkov would say in Greek. I don't think English speakers I think they have trouble with ha, like we pronounce it. Yeah, like the chi-square, this you say in English, we say he. But well, enough about languages and stuff. We're here to play war games. So is this supplied? Well, it obviously is supplied. Well, anyway you look at it, I've said these are no Soviet units have bridged them yet. Even from the map at hex, let me see. Well, yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're good. No zones of control. We're good in any case. So I think for the first turns, until the Soviets start really blocking many towns and roads, we're going only our surrounded units are going to have a problem. Next, this one, obviously again, it's 1, it's 2, it's 3 supply head, or 1, 2, 3, 4 supply head. So we are good. Again, this is quite different from Ardennes. I was afraid that these units would be out of supply, but no, it's different. The time scale is quite different, so that's about it. So this one, well, it was my example for, yes, this is in supply. This supply head bridged. This is also bridged. And then next, this one, yeah, again this one too, next to no, it's not, no, this is not, you can't trace supply through here, so I forgot it. It's my example earlier was flawed. You can't trace supply here because there is this unit that exerts zone of control, but it can trace supply to here because it's 1, it's 2, and then off the map. So these two are in supply. So now I think I'm getting to an unsupplied unit. Sorry about that. I'm trying to fix. I should have paused the video. Yeah. What am I doing? Okay. Now this unit is a completely different story, because what happens is that the Soviets have blocked this unit, has blocked this road. But even let's say, for the sake of the argument, if we could trace supply here, let's say here, yeah, or when here, we couldn't trace supply because we can't pass through zones of control, and the same goes from here also. It's completely south. So these units are completely the stack is completely surrounded, so it's going to be out of supply for the rest of the turn, unless I've got air resupply. Don't have. So this is the out of supply, and then that's the isolated, which will happen if I don't supply it next turn. Something happens, and so unfortunately this is now unsupplied. Let's place this, and I will come fix it later so we can see what happens. But yeah, you can't resupply, and if you remember from our demos, there were two states of unsupply: low supply and no supply, and low supply, sorry, and out of supply. But again, the time scale was different. We have to keep that in mind. It was 1 day, now it's turned 3 days, so it wouldn't you wouldn't have to you know, to wait that long for an effect. Okay, so again, the reason this unit is out of supply is that it is surrounded, so it can't trace supply. So next unit would be, well, the one is Migev, is sitting on a supply head, no problem. This one here, again, it's not surrounded, it can trace supply here, but is this a valid supply head? Because no, it can't go that way because it's blocked here. Say, no, can't go that way. No, but it can go down here. Oh, let me change. You see, you got to be a bit careful when tracing supply, because you have to be, yeah. Let me see, it's no zone of controls. There's a zone of control here, but not here, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're good. This is a valid supply head because it, you know, runs yeah, from both well, both ends of this road run to to German map edges. So it's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4, it's 5. So this is in supply. And yeah, let's go next. No, I'll pause it and move. So yeah, that's better. So this unit is supplied with determinant. Now this unit is supplied. This hex is not in zones of control of Soviets. It is a valid supply head. So this unit is supplied. Now this unit, yeah, that's a very interesting example. Let me try and get better in focus. Yeah, I think it's better. Well, this unit is an interesting example because this unit is surrounded, okay, but it can't resupply because these hexes are occupied by friendly units, and it says that the path may be traced into a hex in an enemy zone of control only if that hex is occupied by a friendly unit. Okay, so although there are zones of control here in both these hexes, the unit is still can trace supply, and it would go, you know, just 1, 2, 3. This is a supply head, and even further it would go 1, 2, 3, 4. Can it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Kramatorsk, yeah, easily supplied. Of course, the same goes for these two units. They are in supply. They're not even surrounded yet. I think, are they surrounded? No, they're not surrounded. This is not in any enemy zone of control, so they can trace 1, 2, 3. Well, doesn't matter. So let's go to this unit. Well, this unit is sitting on a German map edge. It's a map. It's the divider is right here. There are you know, unlucky 40th Corps is just on a German map edge hex. The divider is just here, so it's in supply by default, and the same goes of course for the unit in Kramatorsk. It is in supply. This is the German map edge hex, just it's sitting on a supply head as well. So that concludes our supply check. Well, it went better than I thought. There's only one stack of units. These are the Corporals units I had put into proof position in the woods. I knowingly left them behind, and yeah, I think they're doing what I was planning for them to do. They're tying up forces. Of course, being unsupplied, it's going to start to tell this turn onwards, maybe, but they're I was hoping that they will take down more you know, Soviet units, but even two units from the southwest front have to remain there, because if they move, if they will not, there is a restriction, they can't cause a movement can't cause a German surrounded unit to become unsurrounded. So I think we are good for now. So that's we have traced supply, and then, as I've said, no, nothing else we can do. This turn I have put the out of supply markers. If they were already out of supply, they would be isolated, and the effects of unsupply, there is a list of effects. No combat tactics may be applied. If mechanized, they can only move only 2 hexes. They can't, well, they can't, my units there, they can't move their surround, but okay, they can't gain an IP, but they retain one previously placed. Oh, just in time. That German may attack if only at least one supplied unit is also attacking. That's, I mean, they have to remain there until someone rescues them or the Soviets attack, and you know, they can't receive replacements. And enemy attackers may draw 1 extra combat sheet and may disregard 1 attacker hit. Okay. And there is the surrender clause. An unsupplied unit or stack already isolated during the supply phases loses 1 step, owning player's choice. So if this unit is now, I mean, the Soviets just can, sometimes in Ardennes we were seeing this, we were trying to do this when we didn't have enough strength to attack as the Germans. So this turn it's out of supply. Next turn it's going to be isolated, and turn 4 they will have to lose 1 step if I haven't managed to somehow break their change their supply status. So we're now ready for the first Soviet impulse of turn 2, but this will be this video has gone on for too long. It's going to be in a next video. So that's all for now. See you later.